Good morning, everybody. Wednesday. Came home early from what was supposed to be a week away. But, as great as the Kruger National Park is, the thought of the drive there and the drive back is enough to flip and put me into hysterics. And then, once you've seen a couple of lions, couple elephant, this, that, leopards, whatever, the big five, over the last 10 years, it becomes sort of, I don't know, I guess the word is boring for someone like me. So we came home early, and as you saw in my video yesterday, so that road, that N4, since I've been going to the Kruger once a year, for 10 years about now, since about 2016, that road hasn't been fully operational ever, bro. There's always roadworks from Witbank through to Komatipoort. There's always roadworks. It's often only one lane. The trucks, listen, something has to be done about the trucks on the road. First of all, there's too many. There's way too many, right? Second of all, they have absolutely no consideration for any other road users whatsoever. Came around a corner just before the tunnel, coming out of Nelspruit, coming around one of those long bends into a sharp left-hander and up a hill, and a truck overtaking a truck on a double barrier coming down, head on towards me. If I had not braked and moved over into the emergency lane, I would not be speaking to you here. You'll be driving, a truck will be behind another truck, you'll come parallel to the truck behind the other truck, and he'll just start pushing you off the road so that he can retain his speed to overtake the truck. You'll be coming at, let's say, 130. I usually drive at about 130, 140. Be coming at 140, he'll watch you come, and then at the last minute, he'll pull in front of you, and you've got to slam on brakes so that he's doing, let's say, the truck that he's trying to overtake is doing 50, 55. He's doing 58, 60, 61, and he just simply cannot retain his speed and just stay behind the truck and ride in a convoy in order that other traffic, they absolutely no consideration. They are absolutely 100% worse than the taxi drivers on William Nicol. And the reason they're worse is because you have this imbecile, an uneducated imbecile, all right? Because if you're driving a truck, it's not like you got a master's degree in nuclear physics or a doctorate in nuclear physics. The best you could do is get a Code 14. And now you drive trucks for a living. In the substance abuse arena, we know for a fact that a vast portion, if not a majority, of truck drivers are under the influence of stimulants to stay awake and push time so that they can rush their loads. We also know that truck drivers have the highest, in any profession in this country, have the highest infection rate of HIV. 60 to 70% of truck drivers are HIV positive because of the stimulants and the company they keep on the road. Right? That's why in a town like Hanover's got the highest HIV infection rate in the country, because Hanover is on a truck route and has truck stops in it. Something has to be done about the trucking, logistical issues in this country. When we got closer to Komatipoort, I posted a video, 32 kilometers of trucks parked in the one lane waiting to go through the Lebombo border post. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable on any level. And many of those trucks that you'll see on my video that are parked there are parked so badly that you have to go into the face of oncoming traffic, also crossing a double barrier in order just to get past the trucks that are parked so badly that there's literally very little access. And then on top of that, the guys are throwing all their cuck, all their litter, all their junk, all their everything into the road. And then you drive up with these trucks, and then you get to the intersection where you turn left to go to Marloth Park, and the cops are sitting there with their fingers in their noses, doing absolutely nothing. You know, collecting salary and collecting chocho, but other than that, not enforcing the law on any level. When you come into Nelspruit, you got this single lane where they're working on the road. You cannot believe how people are driving on that single lane, all right? Super dangerous, right? Not a cop, I promise you, for 100 Ks. Not a cop for 100 Ks. As soon as you get out of all that dangerous stuff and you start getting to a place where you can drive normally, so I would say from central Nelspruit to halfway to Cop Maiden, there's a stretch, it's probably about 30 Ks where the road is functional, right? Full up cops, pulling people over for speeding, flipping, you know, exactly where they're not needed, where there's minimal work to be done, that's where they're sitting. But there where people are driving like maniacs and it's flipping dangerous, not a police, not a cop in sight. Not a cop in sight. Something has to be done. Something has to drastically change in terms of the logistics and the flip and the way the roads are managed in this country. It's a joke. It's a shit show. Here by me in Walkerville, they've been building the same road now for 20 years. 20 years, but they've been building the same road. Since I've been here, which is 17 years, which is when they started building that road. They've been building this road. The little stretch from Walkerville to the Deer. It's taken them 17 years to get, well, they're probably about halfway building it. And in the meantime, the R82 has gotten significantly busier, all right? And I don't even want to tell you how the people drive. As you come through the beginnings of the Deer, there's a lot of shops and things, a little shopping centers, hardware store, this, that. And in order for me to get out from my place, I've got to come down a little road and then turn left onto the R82. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've had near misses. And in fact, because I'm alert and I'm an alert driver, I watch for this. But people are flying, overtaking on a barrier line there. Where's the cops? Nowhere to be seen, but you find them sitting down the road. You know, doing bugger all. Always doing bugger all. Something needs to drastically change, eh? But the good news is it's not gonna. It's not gonna. Because there's too many powerful people making too much money off this whole shit show. Which is the same thing that I'm going to lead into next. So, I've been trying to follow this Cat McLaughly thing, but, you know, it's very difficult to follow something when a person is absolutely not allowed to answer anything because his lawyer is trying to make a name for herself nationally and has to pipe up every 30 seconds to have some flippin' massive legal debate to prevent her client from giving evidence in something that is absolutely necessary for him to give evidence so that we can establish how deep and how bad this flippant story is with the capture of the judicial system and law enforcement. And she just simply won't let him answer. Now, me personally, when someone is getting involved at that level, I think they should start looking at her. They should start looking at her. Because this woman is just far too involved. If she was a soldier, she would be going way beyond the call of duty at this point. And she's preventing South Africa from hearing the truth in favor of a convicted criminal who is being implicated in the most horrific of crimes, stealing from the most vulnerable and underprivileged people in the country, collapsing hospitals, and even implicated in guns for hire rackets, along with members of the South African police. Me, I'm telling you this, me, PD, if I were an advocate at that level and that guy approached me to represent him, I wouldn't do it. I don't care how it may positively affect my business as a lawyer. I would not represent that guy. It's like in America, remember that O.J. Simpson thing? Yeah, sure. That lawyer, whatever his name was, I can't remember his name. He made big headline news when he got O.J. Simpson off that case. But the whole of America turned their back on him, turned their back on O.J. Simpson, because it was perfectly clear that O.J. Simpson killed his wife. And the lawyers, for money, bro, went and defended this guy. That is why I could never be a lawyer. If I were to study a law degree, I would have to be a prosecutor. I couldn't be a lawyer. I could not go up there and lie for people and protect people who have sat in front of me and confessed to the things some of these criminals have confessed to. I could definitely defend an addict who's committed some stupid crimes in order to supplement his drug abuse, but I couldn't go and defend an addict that under the influence of drugs had sexually abused his children. That I wouldn't be able to do. I can tell you that right now. I would not do it. But these people don't care. It's all about the money and all about the optics and all about the marketing strategy, because now every criminal in the world is going to want to use that chick because she defended Kat McClellan. So I can tell you now, her phone is ringing off the hook. But in the meantime, she's defending one of the most heinous people in this country. And I don't know how she sleeps at night. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what she tells herself. All right? In order to placate her conscience, it's just my job. It's part of the legal process. Everyone is allowed a free trial. A guy like Kat McClellan should be defended by a public defender appointed by the state. The money he's spending on this lawyer, he stole from poor people. How is that allowed? And then I'm watching his testimony, and really, honest to God, what shocks me, and this is where I'm going further now. This man is not clever. This man is not clever, bro. This man is not intelligent. How does this man, this unintelligent, low IQ individual, become the top dog in a criminal empire? I knew criminals. I know criminals now, bro. It's the game I'm in. That are street level thugs that have got 10 times the intellect of this guy. 10 times. But are engaged in petty drug-related crap that they're involved in. How does this guy get to lead a flippin'? How is he the OG in all of this? It makes no sense. And this is why I'm saying to you that they must keep climbing the ladder until they start hitting these politicians, because that's where the rot is. These guys we're watching in Madlanga are the foot soldiers. Right? And then I'll watch again. Dun, 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 006.5, Special Agent Adams, Fadil Adams. I mean, are you listening to what this guy is trying to convince us of? Now he's made statements that he's going to be unalived by the MGs. You know that those guys, the MGs, very, 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 very dangerous people. The Madlanga gang. He's making allegations that Madlanga is now going to put together a hit on him. I saw this now. As I came to do this video, I was coming to do the video and this caught my ear and I went and sat and watched that. I could not believe what I was hearing. But I can, because it's coming from this guy. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a fabrication and a lie. They show him statements that he's written with his flipping signatures on. My signatures have been forged. They ask him questions about why he went there and then at what time. I don't remember. Everything he says is a lie. And then he goes on, and I'm watching his social media platforms. He goes on social media platforms and then he degrades the rest of South Africa with his statements. What many of you don't really understand. That's what he always opens his flipping social media. What many of you don't understand. No, Fadil, what you don't understand is that we understand that you are nothing but a thug. And then he goes on and he says, people like me, social media influencers and commentators, particularly white ones, he says. So I don't know if he watches my stuff, right? I hope not. I hope not. I don't want people like that on my channel. But anyway, he says, white social media influencers and commentators, or as he likes to call them, gatborsels, gatborsels, are making him out to be a gangster. No, my boot. No, my boot. We are only commentating on what we see, bro. You are the one moving with thugs. You are the one running around with corrupt flippant cops and crime intelligence. You are the one that is now implicated in a fabricated story against General Kumalo and others. You are the one behaving like a gangster. You are the one that has told us many times that you used to hide guns and used to go dig up guns and go deal with the problems with those guns that were buried. You the one behaving like the gangster. You the one creating the flippin' gangster mindset in the rest of us when we watch you. Now you're trying to play the victim and say, it's us whites. And Uncle Cedric, of course. We're the ones that are making you out to be the side. No, my bro. We're just reporting and commentating on what you're showing us. If it looks like a dog, if it barks like a dog, chances are it's the gatborsels. You know what I said? I responded to that. I said, well, my friend, the way things are going for you and the place you're going to be going to soon, I think a gatborsel is exactly what you're going to need. Very soon. It's unbelievable. And then my last point on all of this that I've said before. Then you watch Fikile Mbalula Come and tell us, it's a good laughy face, I agree. Come and tell us about all the victories of the ANC and how well they've done. I watched this thing in Diepsloot with a manifesto launch, and I thought, remember I put a video, I said, I can't believe that many people went and actually supported these acts. Then I watched social media footage from influencers. They didn't even fill up a quarter of their seats that they packed out. They were repacking the seats because of the lack of interest shown at that thing. And that is a positive sign. That is the signs that I'm hoping for. That is the miracle. That is the change that I am going to require in order to stay in this country. And last but not least, I heard such wonderful things that Durban Port, things were going to improve and things were improving, and that I need to see a report this morning that ships don't even want to dock here. Transport companies, container companies, shipping companies don't even want to bring the thing because 80 to 106 hours delays on unpacking and packing ships. So like the person who said this in the article I read this morning, right? In fact, it was my mate Sean Skitter. Go read, go check his page. He put up a flippin' fantastic article this morning. It's long, but it's worth a read. So you can have a farm. Let's say you're a black guy. You're a black guy that has got a farm and you're doing very well. And you're producing export quality oranges and citrus. You can plant or you can harvest, you can employ all those people, you can load the trucks, you can get the flipping trucks full of the containers full, you can get the trucks to the port. Your oranges are going to rot at the port because they're kept in those containers on the side there, and it's just taking too long to load them. So you can't get them to the destination fresh. So you're going to lose your entire load, which is then going to put you out of business, bro. This government is 100% invested in the failure of its citizens. It is masking it under the disguise that they're after us, the white guys, but they're not. They want to collapse everybody so that everybody is dependent upon them for a plate of food. That is their goal. And then when that happens, and they're busy doing it already, because it's already happening, they're going to make sure that we turn on each other. And when we turn on each other, then they're going to require help and money and all the things they need to return stability to South Africa. This is the plan. This is the communist plan. And at the same time, then they can take full control under the disguise that the country is unstable, the country is in a state of war, the country is this, the country is that. That's why we've got to do our best, as angry as we get. Let me tell you, there's times when I feel I could easily pick up a rifle again and move into the flippin' combat scenario with brothers of mine. Believe me. And I've got some highly effective brothers, but believe me, there's at least a couple that if they were to get together and start making kak, they would make kak at a level that would astound people, right? So, and I've thought about it many times, but that is exactly what they want. They want to paint us as the bad guys. And if we give them a reason to do that, we will lose the support we are gaining worldwide. Because the world has taken notice of what this ANC government has done to a phenomenally beautiful country. This after they went against the warnings that they received from the then apartheid government, that these were the things that were going to happen when this government changed. They decided to not believe that because those people were obviously the devil, right? And this was going to be the Rainbow Nation. This was going to be the project that set the standard for regime change worldwide, and was going to be the example that, first of all, regime change could happen without a civil war, and second of all, that those incumbents would be turning this country into this paradise like Singapore. And we told them it's not going to happen, because we live here, we know exactly what's what. And now they've realized they made a big mistake, especially with the Ramaphosa's and the ANC's and the Malemas and the flippin' Zumas and the Lamolas and the flippin' Naledi Pandors that have 100% turned their back on the nations that enforced the sanctions and the embargoes that crippled the National Party. Not only have they turned their back on those nations, they are vehemently attacking those nations. And so the world has woken up to these acts. So if we go now and we start flipping, engaging in untoward activities, the world will turn their back on us as well. You know? And the great thing is that the majority of South Africans have had 30 years to educate themselves better politically, to educate themselves better in terms of the landscape. And so they're going to make the changes, particularly, and I keep saying it to you, the black middle class. The black middle class. The black academic. The black intellectual. These are the people that are busy making the changes and their voices heard. Lekker. Have a great day. Chat to you guys tomorrow.